New system, kids! Mali Minutes will now premiere and then immediately go to the Patreon and membership only. That's right, I'm selling out the same way Memon sells out Fizzaroli because we're both Aussies and yes, that's the only segue I have, and no, I don't offer refunds. Enjoy this unhinged rant about a pet peeve.
Warning! Warning! This joke will not land! You are on Twitter! This joke will not land! Bunker down your replies! Mute your threads! This joke will not land!
Have you ever considered the value in simply shutting the fuck up? Like, I don't mean to put too fine a point on it, but really? Love or hate Helluva boss, but the fact this objectively sweet moment has become the battleground for brain-dead Twitter, no I will not call it X, discourse is unsurprising as it is exhausting. I mean, I guarantee half of these posts are just bait, but smack me on the upside of the head and call me an anti-kindness because I'm nibbling on this poison bait like it's a block of Mercy's cheddar. Anyway, so yeah, Helluva Boss Season 2 Episode 7, unintentionally out here acting as an easy way to check if someone's opinions are made out of spite or not. In this episode, we highlight and put on display a genuinely interesting and wholesome relationship between Fizzaroli and Asmodeus. Asmo, fuck it. Which is notable given how much of this show is spent highlighting not that. With smatterings of commentary on creepy fan entitlement, the abuse of parasocial relationships, personal autonomy in exploitative industries, imposter syndrome, self-image, public image, and external pressures becoming internalized pressures that then feed off one another in the world's worst Ouroboros. All that to say, there's actually substance here, but the internet is all up in arms on why is a child in hell, and this is just virtual signaling by having a disabled character. Nani? Well, unfortunately, the whole child in hell debate seems to have mostly stemmed off a joke landing poorly and people who have no understanding of the show just jumping on that poor ill-fated joke, spouting off loudly without knowing the first thing about the show's lore, which, TLDR, hell has natural-born residents as well as sinners, so yeah, kids are born here. Can we all just move on now? Great, good. As for the claim that the showrunners are disingenuous for including representation and using it as a springboard for clout, the source is a scene that is both sweet and serves as an interaction between two disabled characters, one of which serves as an uplifting idol for another and offers representation that we don't often get to see in the bombastic entirety of 20 seconds out of 30 minutes of show. God fucking damn it. Like, really? Ignoring how all the other good aspects of this episode get thrown to the wayside to argue about if the team behind the show are actually utilizing disability to push their own virtue, it's just a fundamentally flawed argument, isn't it? One that we see all the time. That tired argument of forced diversity has gone too far in one coat of paint or another. Okay, for argument's sake, let's pretend for a moment that the accusation of bad representation is valid. What's your advice to fix it? Because if they've done something wrong in media, surely you have, criticism to offer. So what did they do wrong in the representation? What makes it bad? Was the kid's sign language off? Was there something fundamentally wrong or misleading about their depiction of the disability? No? Then what would you change? Was it too short a moment? Well, that can't be it, because apparently it's wrong that it was included by the team in the first place, so it's the fact that it's there at all? If so, that would mean the only way to fix it would be to, remove it. So there's just no representation at all. Fantastic. I'm sure the marginalized communities will be so happy you saved them from bad representation, so now they can go back to no representation at all. We've done it. We fixed it. We found the issue. We fixed the problem. Round of fucking applause. Funnily enough, as you might have seen, there was even that argument if you shouldn't want representation in a show that takes place in hell, which, my brother in Christ, I regret to inform you that this is, in fact, a fictional animated show, and it's simply not that deep. Truly, I'm sorry that your imagination curled up and died somewhere when we weren't looking, but let the rest of us enjoy our weird queer demons, thank you. I'm also extra sorry to be the bearer of reality when I point out that a lot of marginalized people depict hell and Satan adjacent themes in media as, a nice escape from strict fundamentalist religious doctrine. Just throwing that out there as something to chew on, but let's not completely unleash that carnivorous can of worms right this second. This is the thing about the bad representation argument coming from people not even included in whatever minority group is being represented that drives me absolutely bonkers. Rarely is there ever actually an explanation as to what makes it bad representation. Sometimes the fallback is things like it's forced, it didn't add anything, it's virtual signaling, but when you break down arguments like that, the natural conclusion is that the problem is the diversity or the representation being included at all, which then leaves us at the natural endpoint of don't include it, which, as you might be able to guess, rubs me all sorts of wrong. Now let me be clear here, there are of course critiques to be made of all aspects of media, especially in cases when minority groups may be getting depicted in a harmful manner. I don't think something like Split is exactly going to be winning any virtue points for its depiction of DID or multiple personality disorder as it was formerly known. But when I say that because I can point to the ways in which it's harmful. I can point to how it continues to dramatize, glamorize, and demonize a condition that has already historically been used for cheap horror scares and spreading misinformation about a very real condition that people have to live with. Whereas, what can people point to with this scene in Helluva Boss? There is a child who uses sign language. That's it. That's the scene. They don't even stop to make a thing of it. There is just a child present that uses sign language. What? Is the problem that a child is present? Well, it can't be that, because this person said it would have been fine if it was just a child without the disability, so the problem is that the child has a disability. Hold on, pause. Do I actually need to talk about why it's a little bit suspect that you find the presence of someone with a disability to be a problem? No, we can just keep this train rolling? Alright, cool. Keep going. We can't stop to unpack all this bullshit today. So, where's the harm here? Where's the mischaracterization or misinformation? There is none. There is simply a character with a disability existing on screen, and apparently that in and of itself is worth some people's ire. I understand those people are probably not listening to this video. I cannot reach them. They are closed off to me. Godspeed whatever those people do with their time. Saying its mere existence alone is a problem isn't really a critique, it's a barely concealed fishing for complaints towards a show or development team that someone dislikes at best, or even more barely concealed bigotry at worst. In the instance of Helluva Boss, I do tend to lean to the former camp. I don't think the people harping on the inclusion of the interaction between Fizzaroli and their fan are bigots. I just think that they're, this guy.
Has been, except now I have to see your smug face plastered on everything, everywhere. And you can read all about it on my review blog, fuckfizz but not in a sexy way.complainer.com.org.gov.
Maybe they felt represented in this episode and just didn't like it, I don't know. I mean, look, it's no secret that the whole Vizipop team and whatever has a pretty big hatedom as much as a fandom. I don't know what's going on over there. I refuse to look. I do not wish to know. Please spare me. But my point is, it doesn't really matter what the team does. There's always gonna be people that look for anything they can hold up on pedestal and be like, look, see, they're actually evil. And I just don't have time for that nonsense anymore. We get enough of that in the Minecraft community. I'll just keep it moving. And look, if you really want to critique anything about this episode, I mean, the twins are right there. How are they winning this clown show? They're not funny. Their act is more an aggressive pop idol adjacent thing. They're not clowns and they're women, which means...
Because I'm not gonna lie, women just ain't funny. Anyway!
I mean, the whole clown show doesn't have nearly enough actual clown stuff going on. Complain about that if you really must complain. It's right there. And yes, I am sore about Mammon being Aussie, and I will continue to be sore about it till the day I perish in a hellscape. Anyway, that's my Mali minute of the day. Godspeed, you little sinners. I have nothing more to add today. I simply wish to vent about this complaint I see all the time, and it drives me up the wall because it's so painfully transparent what's going on.
My immersion!